doing this video for the full moon in Aquarius that's happening on August 18th, early morning of August 18th. We'll feel it a lot on August 17th. This full moon is opposite the sun in Leo. It's happening a very early degree of Aquarius, like 1 degree 30 seconds. And it's in the nakshatra of Dhanishta, which literally means wealth and value and building wealth and values. So the full moon is where the sun and moon are opposite each other. So the sun is on one side of the earth, moon is on the other side of the earth. And this brings in to contrast the different parts of our mind and consciousness, actually, because the sun is the masculine assertive quality of action and focus and vision, and the moon is the feeling, the internal, which needs to harmonize and contrast our actions so that our actions, for example, land in a way with others that serves our higher purpose, because we never want our actions to just be for our own sake. We always want our actions to be well received. In fact, a lot of why we incarnate here on Earth is to learn how to just, how to be more than about just ourselves, how to harmonize our actions and our identity with others, and then, relate that to a higher principle. So you have to understand that anytime there's an opposition, it actually brings in a dynamic that has to do with relationships, because that's the seventh house. The seventh house is the opposite. There's me doing this, looking at you, and you looking back. That is the seventh house. So full moons happen with this seventh house dynamic. Sun is in Leo, moon is in Aquarius in this case, and they're opposite. So the harmonizing quality of Aquarius for Leo is where the public or the collective needs to be included in the centralized power. A government is a good way to look at it. Leo is the king. It's related to government. It's related not just to government, but in your life it's related to the kingdom that you're building, literally. That centralized power that you act on all the time. That's why Leo has a lot to do with family, kingdom, domain, the thing that you're trying to build, and you would like that thing to be inclusive of a sort of collective, to include a community. If you're in a family, you want the members of your family to enjoy your house and to be able to invite their friends and to have it be a source of a sort of communal environment. When we look at the world at large, we can look at the government, and which is Leo, the centralized government, and those leaders, and Aquarius is the population, it's the culture, it's the citizens. Again, notice all these big changes in the world right now around this Leo-Aquarius theme, particularly because we also have the lunar nodes in that axis now. So not only is it Leo-Aquarius themes coming up, but it's also Rahu, the north node, which is in Leo, and Ketu, the south node, which is in Aquarius. That dynamic is getting activated right now with this full moon. In addition, this full moon portends about 6 months, or actually not 6 months, but I haven't looked exactly. Let me just run it real quick. It's at least about, until Mars breaks the Kalasarpa Yoga in January. So it's almost 6 months of all the planets in between Rahu and Ketu. That's called a Kalasarpa Yoga. But this, once the sun enters Leo, and especially once it crosses the threshold with Rahu at about 18 degrees, then all the planets are going to be in between the nodes. So this means it's a very transformative time to shift and go to the next level of governance in our world, also in your personal world, but it shows a lot of potential for sudden and shocking changes in government and power and things like that. So a lot of other things that I'll be talking about, but as it relates to this full moon, it's very potent because we're entering the eclipse cycle, meaning 2 weeks from now, the new moon in Leo is going to be a solar eclipse. And then the next full moon, the full moon in a month from now, is going to be a lunar eclipse. So we're entering a very transformative time for the next month, especially as it relates to things like politics, world power, and things like that. So not only do we have the Sun and Rahu in Leo, but we also have Mercury and Venus there. Mercury's about to go into Virgo, but so a lot of energy in Leo right now, and also Rahu is there. So again, where the Sun has the most power here, because the Sun has joined Rahu, and it's also when the Sun is in Leo, it is in its own domain. So there's a lot of energy pushed toward the Leo end of this full moon. And the Aquarius part, which is actually where the moon is, may be having a hard time keeping up. So notice how you're aware of the detriment or the deficit of compromise and the deficit of culture in your life right now, even though it's a full moon, which is trying to give you that clear reflection from your community and your cause. It feels like most of the energy is still really pushed back on you and what you want. Again, so what's happening is the full moon in Aquarius is saying, where is the kingdom? Where is the connection to the elevated purpose that I want? But then Leo, all that energy in Leo is saying, I don't really care that much. I want what I want. I think if I get what I want, it's going to be better for the kingdom. It'll be better for the population. Look at it in your own life. Like maybe you're being challenged to compromise somewhere, or to be more, to relax your individualism. But it's hard. You want to keep the power. You want to keep your vision pure and not have it diluted by the collective. But especially because Ketu is also there with the moon, and Ketu tends to negate things. Ketu tends to hide things. So this full moon in Aquarius, it's definitely a time for greater service, greater connection to themes that are bigger than just your own fulfillment and your own heart's desire. But it might be hard to come by. Notice how there might be some frustration with actualizing your vision now. And look for opportunities to get out of your own story. This is the point. Because that's the potential here, is to show up for greater service. But it's harder with all those planets in Leo saying, me, no, my vision is the right one. And I'll make you all see that I'm right. So, in addition, we still have Mars and Saturn in Scorpio. Saturn is aspecting these planets in Leo, and Saturn is going to be aspecting that, those planets going through Leo for the next couple weeks, especially as the Sun and Rahu get closer together toward this solar eclipse. But Saturn is now no longer moving backwards, so at least we're starting to move forward a little bit more with our plans. But Mars is also getting really close to Saturn in Scorpio, which is bringing quite a bit of renewed desire to blow up things that aren't working. Frustration is mounting again, and in the next couple weeks, especially the next week or so, you might see something sort of blow up, like ready to blow up something again. Something that you think is keeping you stuck. Mars is like right here relative to Saturn, and it's going to overtake it. So it was back about here, now it's about right here, and in the next few days it's going to go past Saturn in Scorpio. So notice how some things are getting blown up right now, especially things that have been stuck in the world, or with different things that haven't been working. You're ready to just kind of blow it up and move on to the next thing. Especially themes that you've been working on since maybe since maybe February of this year. Since Saturn and Mars joined in Scorpio, you've been trying to work through something, and now you're just ready to blow it up. Say, that's it ain't gonna work. That's a ripe potential for the next week. And the nakshatra of Dhanishta is ruled by the 8 Vasus. And the 8 Vasus, it's actually related to the 3 gunas and the 5 elements. Body, mind, and spirit, and then the 5 compounds. Body, mind, and spirit is the matrix of evolution, and the 5 compounds is the stuff that is created, that creates all the stuff that is evolving, not just the form, but also the consciousness. So it's a very creative time. Dhanishta is quite a creative nakshatra, and it has a relationship to wealth, but also value and values, and those things that you value the most, rather than just money. And of course, one of the biggest things that's also changed is Jupiter has left Leo last week, and now it's in Virgo. So we've seen quite a bit of that charge that happened when Jupiter went into Leo last summer, and when Jupiter Rahu has been joined since early this year. Some of that fanaticism has waned, which we saw with the recent political season, with a lot of polarizing around fanatical messages on the right and the left. Now Jupiter in Virgo is insisting on more precision with our rhetoric and with those people that guide us, those people that lead us and teach us. So it's good for that. So that's a backdrop to this full moon as well. So if you want to see how this is going to influence and impact your sign, you can register for my Vedic Astrology Training Lab, only 50 cents, and you'll see how this impacts your sign, and also get a bunch of free classes and daily forecasts, Facebook group, private Facebook group, live check-ins twice a week, all kinds of cool stuff.